All right, welcome everyone. This particular podcast is going to be dealing, as you see, with probability trees and tables. I'm going to move this down to the bottom so that hopefully it will distract people less and less. And so you see, um, a tree diagram is very commonly used as a way to do probability and get your total possible outcomes. For some people that are very visual, it's a little easier to see that versus just reading the words. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And as you see, our first scenario is you're coming to an intersection while driving your car, and there are three ways to go. And then from any one of those ways, there's another fork in the road that goes three different ways. And so they want to know how many total paths are there. And so a way to realize that is to do what we call a tree diagram. And so it shows you all the possible paths that you get. Now, one of the things that you might want to note is that your tree diagram can either be drawn verbally, or horizontally, so your branches go out that way, or you can go vertically. Okay, and as you see, I just put a picture of a tree with a lot of branches, and because that's pretty much what you're working with. And so let's go ahead and get started there. So I think what I'll do is I'll use the line tool because I think that would be more helpful. And shapes, there we go. And so let's do that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start. I always do mine vertically, but honestly, there's nothing special about that. And so here I am, I'm driving down the road, and then I have three different ways that I can go. And there. All right. And so from each path, there's going to be another fork in the road. So then for each one, I can go three different ways. So we're going to do that. Okay. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do one more here. And then from here, we're going to go this way, and this way. And so what you're starting to see is that if you look, usually on a tree diagram, if you look at the very bottom, so let's go back to the pointer so I don't make any lines. So if you look at the very bottom and just go across here, you notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different ways that you can go. Okay, because we only went with the three and then the three more. And so how many total paths are there? There are 9. That's what you're seeing there. There are 9 because that's how many. And the way I usually get it is I go to the very bottom of my tree, or if it's horizontal, the far right, and I just count every branch, and that tells me my total possible outcomes. So that's an easy way to get that information. All right. So we want to answer that question. Let's put a little text box in here. And so how many possible ways are there? Paths are there? There are 9. All right. And let's change that color. So we're going to put that in. Let's go back and then, oh, that doesn't look very good. Sorry, I'm just trying out some different things. Let's put it in red because then it'll look good. Okay? And so there are 9 total paths that you could take in order to, when you're driving on this road. So let's go to the next slide. All right. And in this particular case, we're going to do the same thing. So basically, you are doing rock, paper, scissors with a friend. So what we're going to do, and you guys, we played that before. We did that as one of our activities in the last unit. And so what you're going to see is that imagine what a game of it would look like. We're going to use a tree diagram. Now this time I'm going to do it horizontally so you can see what I mean when I say I can do it horizontally or vertically. That one was vertical. And so I'm going to take and I'm going to draw more lines. Okay, so here I am. You're playing a game. I always start with something. And then from this, I can go 3 different ways. So I can go here, I can go here, and I can go here. All right. And so we're going to call this one rock, call this one paper, call this one scissors. Okay. So, whoops, I don't want to do that. Let's see if I can move this. All right. Yeah, but not like that. Okay. So let's put in a text box here. And here we're going to say it's rock. And then we're going to put another one here that says paper. And then we're going to put in another one here that says scissors. Now, from there, the first time you play, you get rock, paper, or scissors, depending on what you picked. Now, let's go to the next one. And from each turn, we can again do what? Rock, paper, scissors. So from there, we're going to put in another one. And so here we're going to go 1, we're going to go 2, and we're going to go 3. And then we're going to go 1, and then we're going to go 2, and then we're going to go 3. And then from here, we're going to go 1, and we're going to go 2, and we're going to go 3. Again, knowing that each branch we can do rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors. So you would just keep labeling. And then depending how many times you want to play, you could keep doing this on and on and on and on and on. Okay? So that's kind of how this works. And then so depending on how many games you play, you would count the end branches to get the total number of outcomes. And so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we have 7, 8, 9. If we played one more, we'd have more than that. All right? So going to the next slide, this is a very short presentation because most people get it pretty quick. And let's take that off. All right. So now, what's the probability of the outcome of we take a die and we roll a 2, and then we take a coin and we get heads. Okay, so you're looking at 2 different types of outcomes. So again, I'm going to make another tree diagram, and that'll catch up with me. And so here I'm going to do there. Whoops, got a little carried away there. Let's undo that. Okay. Alright, let's go back to our pointer. And I'm going to take this 2 off. I'm not sure why it's there, but let's delete it. There we go. So let's go back to our shape. And then, like I said, we're going to make another tree diagram. So when we roll a die, we have a possibility of 6 sides. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Let's undo that last one. Here's another one. There's 4, there's 5, and there is 6. All right, and so on each one of these branches, what I want to have is I actually want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so here you go. So there's a 1, there's a 2. Let's not type here. All right. Okay, there's a 3. Here's a 4. And here you go. Here's a 5. And then here. And there's a 6. Now, at this point, we're going to go back because now from each of those, we're going to flip a coin. So we could have heads or tails for each of those. So for each one, you're going to go out 1 and then 2. Then you're going to go out 1 and then you're going to go out 2. Okay? And so I'm going to go put a little bit of text here. I'm just going to use H and T. So here, you're going to have heads, and here you're going to have tails. All right, and you can use uppercase. And then here you're going to have heads, and then here you're going to have tails. And so you can do that all the way across. And then all you're going to do from each of these branches is you're just going to add up the bottom branches. And so that's going to tell you how many possible outcomes you have. And so let's go ahead and finish that. Let's go here. Okay, let's go here. I'm trying something different. The writing here, and I'm actually just writing. I didn't bring my slate pad, so that's why it looks like that, but I'll clean it up later. I'm just going to go down here so that you can kind of see. Otherwise, it gets really crowded. Here, and then here, and then here. And so basically what we're going to do is we are going to figure out this problem. So here we're going to put a text box here, and I'm going to put a capital letter H. And then here, I'm going to put another text box, and I'm going to put a capital letter T. And then here, I'm going to put a capital letter H. And then here. And as you see, there's nothing to make in these guys. These are usually pretty easy. What this traditionally usually leads to is the discovering of the fundamental counting principle, where basically you just count and then you figure out your total outcomes. The other formulas actually come into play because when you get too much information, it's hard to count it all. And so that's where you come up with a lot of the other formulas. All right. And so now keep in mind, it says, what is the probability of the outcome? The die rolls 2 and the coin gets heads. So we're looking at the first one. So this is the die. So there's your 2. And then your coin gets heads. So there's only one choice for that. Okay. And so we're going to put a 1. And then we're going to do a fraction. Now, how many possible outcomes total do you have? And what we have is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So our denominator is going to be 12. So the probability, that actually isn't too bad. So the probability of getting a die rolls 2 and a coin gets heads is 1/12. That's how that works. Now, there are 2 more slides here to go. On the next one, we are ordering a burger from Five Guys, and so you get a white or a wheat bun. Then you get to pick one garnish from the following, and so that's your onion, your tomato, your lettuce, and your roasted red pepper. Then you can get a side. So as you see, you have lots of different choices here. So all we're going to do is just make the tree diagram, and then the last example is you're going to actually use it to get the total number of possible outcomes. All right, and so here, let's go ahead and let's make the diagram. All right, and then again, you can do the labeling. So I'm going to start here, and then from here I get a white or a wheat bun. Whoops. Let's undo that. Let's go here. You know what does this do? Okay. Okay, so here I'm going to go, there's one. So one's white, one's wheat. Okay. Alright, and then let's put a text box in. And this can be white. And this can be wheat. Alright. Now let's go back. Now from there, remember, you get to put your garnishes on. So there are 4 choices for each of those. So from there, then we are going to make 4 little branches out here. Okay, so we're already there. And one there, one there, and one there. Okay. And so that's going to take care of our onion, tomato, lettuce, and roasted red pepper. And then from there, okay, and it's just as easy to use abbreviations, so I think I'm going to just use the letters. So I'm going to put just onion, O for onion there. And then I'm going to put T for tomato. And I'm going to put L for lettuce, and then here I'm going to put roasted red pepper. Alright, let's take that here off because I don't like that. Okay. Alright, And so from there now, and then you can do the wheat side because it's going to work the same way. And then from each one of those, you get a choice of fries, onion rings, or potato chips. So again, we are going to go and we're going to make 3 more lines. I don't need my page browser. All right. So we are going to make 3 from each one of those. And so from here, I am now going to have 1, I'm going to have 2, and I'm going to have 3. And so 1 is fries, 1 is onion rings, 1 is potato chips. And you're going to do that from each of those. And then you can finish up this side. All right. And then again here, I'm going to have fries, onion rings, potato chips. And then here I'm going to have fries, I'm going to have onion rings, I'm going to have potato chips. And fries, and onion rings, and potato chips. Now, knowing that the other branch looks identical, you have one branch done. You literally can figure out how many total possible outcomes you have here. So, moving on to the next slide. Again, I'm going to let you finish up that one and I can check on it in class for you if you like. It's not real difficult to do here. All right. And so let's go and we're going to go to the next slide. So now we want to use a tree diagram to find the number of possible outcomes of spinning one spinner with 6 sections and then rolling a die. Now this looks very much like the die and the coin, okay? Because your spinner has 6, but your die also has 6, so it's going to be a very involved, a very involved tree diagram, probability tree, or tree diagram is what I always call them. All right, so I'm going to start, and then I'd like you to finish up and do that. So from here, I'm going to have a spinner, and then I need 6 sections. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2, and if you make them different lengths, that kind of helps because then you don't run out of space in order to put everything. So that's why I'm making some of them longer, some of them shorter, some of them in between. So then you have plenty of room. Okay. Okay. So then I'm going to number these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from each one, I'm going to also do 6. So I'm going to do 1. I'm going to make these a little shorter. And I'm just starting it for you. And so what I'd love to see you do is you pause at this point and finish the rest of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I need 1 more. 6. Is everybody okay with that? And so I'm going to put just a little bit of labeling just to help you out here. And so this would be a 1. And then down here would be a 1. And then next to it would be a 2. And then this one would be a 3. And so you go around and you're going to do that for each one of these. All right. And then from there you should be able to tell me how many total possible outcomes you have. I will go ahead and tell you it should be 36. Should be 36. And guys, that's how you make a tree diagram. I'm sure a lot of you have probably made one already in previous classes, and this hopefully will just be a refresher. And if you not, then you know how that works. And so that's the end of this particular podcast, and I will see you on the next one.